Hi, everybody. Welcome to the class. This is Urban Planning 275G, otherwise known as Geographic Information Systems Overview. My name is Rick Koss, and I'll be your instructor for the course. And a little bit about me. I'm a faculty member in the San Jose School of Planning, Policy, and Environmental Studies. And in a subsequent video, I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and my background and my work. But basically, I am here to talk about GIS, and I'm hoping to excite you a little bit about the technology. So real quick, this course is 1 unit, which means roughly about 45 hours of work over the span of the course. And I've added some time estimates into each assignment to give you a rough idea about how many hours you should allocate. Of course, everybody's different, but this is just my rough approximation of how much time each assignment should take. So I have a few success tips for you. Tip number 1, read the syllabus. I know it's not the most exciting thing to read, but there are some things in my syllabus that probably don't appear in most other syllabi. So click on the link on the left side of Canvas where it says official syllabus and just give it a read. Just understand the ins and outs of the course. Tip number 2, all of the course material is organized by modules, which are, again, on the left side menu of Canvas. Please go through each module in order. Don't skip around. In fact, they're set up so that every module builds on the one before it. So just make sure to go through them in order because each lesson builds on the next. Tip number 3, always read the assignments from start to finish and then start work. Trust me on this one. My assignments tend to be kind of wordy, but I do that on purpose in order to give you as much clarity as possible. But it's always a good idea to read the assignment start to finish and then start your work. I guarantee it'll make your experience a lot more enjoyable. Tip number 4, definitely start the assignments as early as possible. And maybe another way to say it is please don't start the assignments the day before they're due. Some of them are fairly substantial, and I don't want you to feel panicky trying to get it done at the last minute. So as much as your time permits, please start your work as soon as possible. And tip number 5, endeavor to show me your very, very best work. You're taking a course as part of a professional degree program, and I'd like to see your most professional looking work. And that involves, first of all, basic things, spell checking, formatting your reports professionally. In fact, there's a video in the course that tells you how to use Canva. If you choose to use Canva, it's a really easy to use tool to help really produce fantastic looking reports. So the content of the report should be solid, cited, proofread, grammar checked, etc. But also the presentation of each of your assignments should also be professional looking. If it helps to use AI tools in the span of your work, that's okay. In fact, that's why San Jose State has given all of us a free ChatGPT account. I am a big proponent of AI in education. However, we have to use it responsibly and judiciously. If you turn in work that uses any sort of AI component, it's vital that you cite that in your report. But you might want to use AI to generate some ideas, think of some creative solutions to problems. It's a tool that we should all learn to use, but judiciously and properly. Tip number 6, it's a really good idea in this course to be flexible and inquisitive. So, for example, not every assignment will tell you exactly what to do. I'll give you some general guidance and pointers in the right direction, but you have to be comfortable with doing a little bit of your own research. For example, how to solve a problem you've encountered, or maybe once again, using online tools or AI tools to help you generate some creative ideas or creative approaches to the assignment. So, in other words, be creative is my goal. It's a real asset in the world of GIS. And my last tip is if you get stuck or need help, it's always okay to ask. I love getting questions. It shows me that you're engaged. It shows me that you care about doing good work. So it's always okay to email me if you need help. However, before you email me, try a few other things first. Try looking online for some help. I guarantee Other people might have encountered the same problem you have. Um, Also consider leaning on your peers through Canvas discussions. So if you've run into a situation, you need some input, maybe need some ideas on how to problem solve, type up a quick note, put it in Canvas discussions, and we'll see if we can start a class discussion on that. But again, if you need to email me, please do. It's always okay. I tend to reply pretty quickly, not immediately, but usually pretty quickly. So I'm here, want you to succeed, happy to help. So since this course is part of San Jose State's Masters of Urban Planning program, and I myself am a certified urban planner, the focus of this course will be on how urban planners use GIS. And if you're new to GIS, it's okay. If you have some experience in GIS, that's okay. You're going to learn something new. Fundamentally, GIS is a system for working with information that has location. We sometimes call that spatial data, spatial information. Uh, in the world of urban planning, GIS really has become essential to helping planners move from where is it to who is affected and what should we do next. So this workflow is really an important part of using GIS. So one way to start thinking about the intersection of urban planning as a profession and geographic information systems as a tool is to recognize that every planning question is partially spatial, right? Spatial, again, means location. So, for example, where should we build new housing? Uh, which neighborhoods lack park access? Who has been exposed to flood, heat, or pollution impacts? Or which neighborhoods might be in the future impacted by those things? Or how would a zoning change? That changes the land use. How would that affect the density of a neighborhood, the infrastructure, or even equity concerns? So again, a great way to think about GIS is that it connects where things are, who is affected, what patterns exist, and which interventions might change those patterns. So let me just show you real quick. I just wanted to show you a few quick examples of some of my recent work with GIS. So right now I'm logged into ArcGIS Online, which is the same platform you will use. In fact, you can see up here at the upper right that I'm logged in. This is actually the site that I use for my consulting practice. So within ArcGIS Online, you'll soon experience this. There are a bunch of tabs at the top. Typically what I do is I go to the Content tab first. And by the way, ArcGIS Online is made by a company called Esri. Esri is the kind of the big giant in the GIS world. And ArcGIS Online is the cloud-based platform. You can kind of think of it like how you use Google Docs or Gmail. Everything's in the cloud. So here's all my content, all the stuff that I've produced over the years. And I'm going to go over here to filters, and I'm going to filter my content by web maps. So web maps are maps that I've authored and shared. So one that I've been working with pretty recently is for the city of Eureka. And the city of Eureka, which is in Northern California, has hired me, or had hired me, I should say, to produce this web map to examine their gulches. So Eureka is in a really beautiful spot. If I zoom way out, you can see here's the Pacific Ocean, and here is the city of Eureka. If I zoom back in, you can see, if you look carefully, that there are a number of these gulches, these ravines, that are present in the city. And the city asked me to produce this web map to show what parts of the ravines should be protected permanently from urban development. This is part of the city's effort to create, a green infrastructure within the city. So if I zoom in, you can see fundamentally what GIS is all about. Layers of information. Those layers are listed here on the left. So I can turn layers on and off. For example, this is the streams layer. Here is the city limits, which you can see if you look carefully at the bottom left. And basically what this project involved was me delineating the edges of these buffers. You can see those in the green and blue lines. And by buffer, I mean a distance from the edge of the greenway. And also this red intersection captures all of the parcels, the pieces of land, that intersect the buffer. So if I turn that layer on, you can see those parcels in green. The short story here is all of the property owners in these green parcels would be subject to certain restrictions on what they could build on their property in order, once again, to protect these gulches. So if I zoom way in, you can see that this parcel right here that's outlined in green intersects the buffer right here where the red line is. And that buffer, again, is a distance from the ravine, which is right here. So this project was instrumental in the city of Eureka setting up a new ordinance to protect these very sensitive environmental areas. So that was a pretty fun project. So if I go back to my content tab, and let me show you real quick one other web map, and then we're done. So here I am back in my content pane. I'm going to click on maps, going to click on web maps, and let me show you another project that I completed. So I was hired by a gentleman who lived in the Marina District in San Francisco. And here is that area. If I zoom way out, you can see here's the coastline of northern San Francisco. And right here basically is the neighborhood known as the Marina District. It's a very kind of posh neighborhood, very scenic, but it has an interesting environmental history. These areas in pink were the sites of former manufactured gas plants. These were industrial facilities that produced gas for household and other uses. And what's interesting is these were constructed way back in the late 1800s when there was basically no sense of environmental protection. So to this day, there are all sorts of groundwater contamination problems in this neighborhood because of these former facilities. And what I was hired to do was to map these locations of groundwater contamination. Those are shown in the X's. So that was information provided to me, and I had the coordinates of those contamination locations, and I was able to plot those on the map using these little X's. And interestingly, you can see there's a lot of, obvious clustering of this contamination around these former facilities. What my client also asked me to do was to include in this map the past shoreline. So if I zoom out a little bit, let me turn on the layer for the shoreline in 1867. And if you look very carefully, you can see this blue dashed line shows you where the original shoreline was compared to today. And some of these gas plants were built, obviously, with, on landfill. So let me turn on let's see. Oh, this is kind of cool. I was also able to find an 1859 map of San Francisco and georeference it into the web map. Let me zoom out a little bit. So this enabled me to kind of see, historically what changed over time. Here's the original kind of 1859 shoreline, and you can see today what the new neighborhood looks like. So that was just a little bit of some of the work I've been doing recently. I just wanted to show it to you to warm you up for the class. So this is my welcome. I'm glad you're here. I really hope you enjoy the class. And when you're ready, go ahead and start on module number 1. Just click on modules at the left side of Canvas. Thank you.